I want to thank Elon Musk for being here. I also want to thank the members of the Executive Committee, the members of the Selection Committee, the board of the Chicago Infrastructure Trust, elected and civic leaders of the City of Chicago. In 1960, Chicago finished work on the Northwest Expressway to O'Hare, that's referred to as, and we call it the Kennedy. In '84, Chicago finished work on the Blue Line to O'Hare, and today we are strengthening that service with key investments. But for decades, since '84, that's been it. Those have been your only options. More people than ever fly in and out of O'Hare, and only growing. That means more cars are on the road, and the highway is clogged. For many, and Elon and I were just talking about this, getting from the city to O'Hare or back from O'Hare to the city is a race against time. And we're going to give commuters a leg up in that race, which means Chicago will have a leg up in the race for the future. Chicago is well known for our L. I want to thank Dorval for being here as well, as our mass transit system. From this day forward, we will also be known as a city with the X. When we put out this RFP a few months ago, we had a few parameters. One, no taxpayer funding. Check. Two, that the cost to ride the X should be no more than the cost of a cab, a Uber, or a Lyft. Check. Three, you have to make the trip in less than 20 minutes. And it's Elon's view that we can do this in 12 minutes. And to put that check in context, that 12-minute ride is 3 songs on your iPhone. It will take longer to get through security at O'Hare than it will be to get to O'Hare. And we're working on that today with obviously TSA. There's more than another option to get you from here to O'Hare. This is the fast lane to Chicago's future. When you combine the strength of the country's most connected airport and the strength of Chicago's thriving and expanding central business district, and also combine it with the incredible universities of higher education, with our diverse neighborhoods and diverse workforce, you have a city that's on the move. Just earlier today, we broke ground on a new office building in the city of Chicago, the tallest one to be built in 30 years. 6,000 people will be working there. It also provides $22 million for about businesses in our neighborhoods throughout the city of Chicago. It is both of these investments which is how you build a thriving, growing, dynamic city that all parts of the city can participate in. We are about to embark on the largest modernization of O'Hare in its history. That project, like this project, will create thousands of jobs and also a tremendous amount of economic opportunity. Both of these projects will not cost Chicago taxpayers a single penny. We are also modernizing not only O'Hare and building the new X, we're also modernizing Midway Airport. We're modernizing the Union Station. We're modernizing the red, purple, and blue lines to our neighborhoods and community. And today we are allowed to add the X to that modernization, what I refer to in the office as the 5 big transportation projects. If you want to have, for your city, a 21st century economy, you must have a 21st century transportation foundation. Chicago is the only city in America that is home to 2 international airports, both accessed by public transportation. Chicago is also the only city in America that offers direct flights to every major continent in the world. Chicago is also the only city in the United States that all 3 major carriers operate out of. That is a tremendous advantage. This plan further sets Chicago apart from the competition. It builds on our legacy of innovation, and it builds on our legacy of invention. It builds on our global economic leadership. It builds a better bridge from Chicago to the world and the world to Chicago. And when time is money, it pays to get to where you need to go in the blink of an eye. Chicago is always on the cutting edge. Chicago is always looking over the horizon to see what's next. Chicago is always looking to what is possible and then making it achievable. That is what we did when we reversed the flow of the river. It's what we did as a city when we also created the first skyscraper. Making and thinking about the future and then making it achievable for all of us. That is the same to be said about our partner with the city's future. Elon Musk is one of the great engineering minds of our time. He is one of the great business leaders and entrepreneurs of our time, and he's one of the great visionaries of our time. And because Elon Musk is also planting his flag in Chicago, I wanted to present him with the Chicago flag as a gift. And then before that, and now I would like to ask Elon Musk to make this, actually hang it in his office.
Okay.
And then make sure that Chicago, the X, stays permanent and makes it a reality here in the city of Chicago.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a Chicago warm welcome to Elon Musk. Thank you.
All right, well, we're super excited to do what I think is going to be groundbreaking technology in one of the greatest cities in the world. I'd like to thank the mayor and the mayor's office and the city of Chicago for having the faith to bet on the Boring Company. We think we're going to really be very good at boring, and the ride is going to be very exciting. One of the things I love about America in general is the sense of possibility, the sense of wonder, the willingness to take chances on new ventures and new technologies that really are profoundly, or have the potential to be profoundly better than what's done in the past. And we think that with the loop system, which will ultimately transition to the Hyperloop system, there's the potential here for a revolutionary transport system. And working with a city like Chicago, where one of the great things about Chicago is that there's the number of approving authorities is small. So this is
that sometimes frustrates these people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's clear authority on in terms of getting approvals for various things. It's in some places you could be upwards of 12 or 15 different separate authorities in order to get approval to do something. In Chicago, that is a far smaller number, and that allows us to go through all of the appropriate environmental and regulatory approvals, but do so in a streamlined fashion. And that's one of the assets that I think Chicago has as a city. And that's why we want to do what we think will be the first publicly useful version of the loop from the Boring Company in Chicago. We really look forward to having a super exciting new technology in operation here in Chicago as soon as possible. We expect to start, assuming we receive the approvals, to start drilling later this year, perhaps as soon as 3 or 4 months, and we'll start drilling both from the station side and from the airport side. One of the interesting things that the mayor mentioned to me was that originally the station was going to do a pre-clearance for people going to the airport, so maybe to go straight to your terminal and minimize the time taken to get to your flight. That would be a pretty exciting possibility. So let's see, with that, other questions that we can answer?
Charles?
Oh. Okay. Oh, I have a hat.
I think my flag is a little slightly better, that's all.
Well, this is a limited edition hat. Yes.
Okay. Charlie?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you've thought about how this is going to change the way we live in Chicago, would change the way the downtown is going to look. How do you anticipate this changing the lives of average Chicago?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, let me take a step back. It's a fair question. I've always, since day one, I've always said this key to Chicago's future is to invest and grow that future. And there are many, many, as I tried to list earlier, strengths to the city of Chicago. Its aviation system, its mass transit system, but first and foremost, the people. And also all the schools of higher education that are here. You've heard me before, but when it comes to talent, training, transportation, technology, transparency, Chicago's been a leader, which is why more companies are moving here than any other city for 5 years in a row, and we lead the country in 5 years in a row in direct foreign investment. A growing economy benefits all. Now, it also connects, you know, take a look at it, the new office tower that's going up, around 6,000 people are going to work there. But that also created the investment for about 200 businesses in our neighborhoods throughout the city of Chicago. If your economy's growing, the key goal is to have policies to make sure everybody benefits. One of the largest employers in the city is our aviation system. There's not a neighborhood in the city that doesn't have somebody that's connected one way or another, employment-wise, to the airport. But if we continue to grow as an economy, companies locating, companies expanding, that will benefit everybody. But not just making it one thing or another. That's why the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund, as I said today, or if you have a growing economy, you can invest in more after-school and summer jobs. Try expanding summer jobs, which we have, and after school, which is at a record high, with companies leaving versus companies coming. I'd rather do it with companies coming. I'd rather do it with expanding business opportunities in every effort. And so the airport's a major employer. The Central Business District's a major employer. What this really does in that 12-minute ride is make that a single physical space. No other city in the United States has that. Look at what happened when London from Heathrow downtown offered their express. That tremendous opportunity to say within 12 minutes you can go from one end to the other makes not limited to those two, because you have the institutions of higher learning, you have our diverse neighborhoods, etc. That makes Chicago all that more competitive in a global economy, which means our neighborhoods where people live and also work downtown or work at the airport or work in their own neighborhood, that will help, the growth of the economy will help everybody in that effort. Derek?
Mr. Musk, can you tell us where will the $1 billion come from? Where will your financing come from? And what do you say to the doubters who say that your technology is
Sure.
unpleasant?
Well, I mean, I don't really have much trouble raising money. Historically, so I don't anticipate too much trouble doing so in this situation. I think cumulatively, between my various companies, I'm not sure the exact number, but we've probably raised on the order of $20 billion, all things included. So, and I feel that the economic case here is quite compelling. So I don't really see any obstacles to that. Yeah.
Let me take.
What about the doubters, sir?
Let me. First of all, I happened to check this morning. I asked the office to check this, because it is coming from Elon Musk's background. When he started Tesla, the stock opened up at 17. Just happened to check yesterday; it was 354. The ability to, and he's putting forward that financial wherewithal and that capacity. Second, Fran, were there doubters when Chicago reversed the flow of the river? Yes. Where are they today? Were there doubters when Chicago said we're going to build the first skyscraper in America? Yeah. Where are they today? Were there doubters when we said we're going to have the tallest building in the world, known before as the Sears Tower? Yes, there were doubters. Where are they today? My view is it's easy to be a critic or a cynic. What jobs do they produce? What economic growth do they produce? When Chicago decided to be the first city to take the Intercontinental Railroad system, it surpassed St. Louis within 20 years. When Chicago decided to be a leader in aviation, you saw what happened to its economy. Were there doubters about O'Hare? Were there doubters about the Intercontinental? Yes. There are doubters along the way all the time who sit on the sideline, and then when the thing gets built and the opportunities come and the job growth happens, you can't find them. Derek?
Well, can I ask Mr. Musk that question, sir?
I don't know.
What do you
You okay with
say?
that?
Technology is
You say the answer was pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the mayor's answer was spot on. I
Can I have
You know?
some stock?
mean, yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I do think that there is a role for doubters. People should question things, and it shouldn't be taken as a given that things are going to work, because often things do not work. But I think if you look at someone's track record or company's track record and what progress has been made, it's reasonable to extrapolate into what they would do in the future. And I've done a few things in my background that I think are pretty tricky. We started SpaceX from scratch. Now it is the world's leading launch company, recently exceeding Russia, China, and Boeing and Lockheed combined. Now has the most powerful rocket in the world. You may have seen the landing where we did landed the two side boosters simultaneously at Cape Canaveral. The number of people in the aerospace industry, including the best experts who said that could be done, was 0. I don't mean 1 or 2, I mean 0.
So can I say one? Can I? Wait, Derek. I'm going to go right to you, but I'm going to ask one. I'm going to add one thing. I just finished a recent history on John Kennedy. All of the people doubted whether you could put a man on the moon, and whether Kennedy should set a deadline and timeline for it. I would say there's a place, whether it's doubters, I think there is a place for critics to ask hard questions. But to sit here on the sidelines and not offer alternatives to how to continue to grow, build a future where more people prosper, my view is we have always, as a city, taken on not just the doubters, but vision of a future and then making it a reality. Derek?
By making this $1 billion investment without any public subsidy, you're assuming all of the risk. It's clear what Chicago gets out of this. What does your company and what do you get out of this by bringing this to Chicago?
Sure. First of all, let's preface this by saying, what I would ask is that this is a difficult thing that we're doing. It's a hard thing. It's a new thing, and I'd hope that you cheer us on for this. Because if we succeed, it's going to be a great thing for the city, and if we fail, well, I guess me and others will lose a bunch of money.
So
it's not yeah.
Are you saying that Chicago is giving you the opportunity to test this technology and make it a reality on a large scale?
Chicago is giving us the opportunity to show that it can be useful and economically viable on a large scale. We have a test tunnel that we are digging in Los Angeles, and we expect to complete that test tunnel within a few months. The mayor's office has visited that test tunnel and seen our equipment and designs. But that test tunnel will be too short to be useful, whereas this one will be long enough to be useful and go from one place to another that people use a lot. So one of the hardest things to do with any new technology is not to demonstrate that technology and show that it works, but to show people that it can be indeed useful. It's one of the hardest things in the world to make something useful, where the revenue exceeds the costs of the thing that was done. This is an astoundingly difficult and underappreciated thing, and that is what we intend to do here in Chicago.
Derek, can I, hold on one second. I got you, Greg. Hold on one second. I see Elizabeth, I see Paris, and we're going to get to all. I do want to add one thing on this that's a very important point, at least from my perspective, because I think it's important for the city to know this and the residents. He's bearing all the financial costs for this project, just like O'Hare's expansion. B, he's done both Tesla and SpaceX in that effort, and so he has a reputation. He's also putting that on the line here. For the city, if it works, we have the tremendous opportunities of what economic growth and job creation that happens here in the first city and the only city for a long time in the United States that will have direct service between O'Hare and its central business district within 12 minutes. And when you look for, as a mayor, he does it as an entrepreneur and a businessman, at risk, he's bearing the cost, his reputation, we get the upside with no financial risk at all in that project. And to me, those are the right things to do. Greg, I saw you, so I'm going to go Paris, Elizabeth, then Greg. Paris.
So, Mr. Musk, is the boring and the loop technology where you want it to be to get this ready to start in 3 or 4 months?
Oh yeah, it's no problem for us to start. From a technical standpoint, we'll be ready to begin boring in about 3 or 4 months, provided the regulatory and environmental approvals are done in that time frame. So essentially, as soon as the regulatory environmental approvals are done, we'll be ready to begin tunneling. I feel very confident that the technologies that need to be solved here are, while difficult and new, are significantly less difficult than, say, what we do at SpaceX or at Tesla. And in fact, we will be using some technologies and engineering talent from SpaceX and Tesla to make the system work as well as it possibly could. For example, the pods that will be in the high-speed pods that will be in the tunnel will be made by Tesla. So that's, I think, something where we've got the most advanced electric vehicle and autonomy technology in the world, and then we can apply that to operating in this tunnel, and that gives us a significant advantage.
Here's how we go. Elizabeth, Greg, and John.
Two quick questions. Earlier you said that it would transit the hyperloop system. What do you mean exactly? That it would touch other cities, that it would go faster? How would that transition work? And then secondly, is one of the reasons to keep the speeds at 150 miles per hour less to avoid extra regulation?
Well, on the speed front, we could. There's not really an objective limit to the speed, but I think 12 minutes versus 11 minutes. I think probably 150 or 155 miles an hour sounds about the right. That's 155 miles an hour is 250 kilometers an hour for a relatively short distance like Chicago to O'Hare. That seems like about the right speed to go. But once you want to go, say, between cities, the mayor was talking about the Intercontinental Railway. I think once you go from long distance, say from Chicago to New York, that's where you'd want to make use of the Hyperloop, which would then use a vacuum tunnel and pressurized pods to transport at very high speeds, faster than an airliner, between cities.
Greg?
And one could connect to the other.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Go.
Mr. Musk, speak to the safety issue when you're using new technology in new combinations at a scale that hasn't been presented before for little vehicles that are going to go at 17 miles underground. Some people are going to say, hey, what are you going to do to make these things absolutely positively safe and to take care of people when there's a problem?
Yeah, I think this is a considerably easier safety problem than vehicles operating on the highway. Because on the highway or in streets, there are lots of intersecting streets. You've got to worry about the behavior of other people on the road. You've got
Other people in your car?
Yeah, other people in your car. The roads can vary quite a lot. They can be sort of unidentified debris on the road. The road problem that Tesla's dealing with is vastly more complex than a tunnel where vehicles only going in one direction on one track in a known environment. So it's a vastly simpler problem than dealing with public roads and highways.
Mr. Musk, will you be using union labor on this, and do you believe that this will be operational within 12 to 16 months after you start digging?
We do intend to use a combination of union and non-union labor. And I was just actually talking to my team, of the subcontractors, 12 of the 15 are women, minority, or veteran-owned.
How soon after you start digging will the operation?
This is hard to say. Aspirationally, it would be within 18 to 24 months. But I would say it's very unlikely to be more than 3 years.
Sorry.
We're only going to open the system to the public once the safety is extremely well proven. So even once it is done, we'll be doing demonstration rides, but it will go through a rigorous safety qualification process before putting large numbers of people on board.
Becky?
What if not enough people use it? What if it doesn't, people don't ride it, it's too expensive? What if it doesn't work?
You want me to check that with that?
Sorry?
You want to go? I got mine good.
Okay, sure. You mean what if the revenue?
It's not profitable, you
Well, I think it's very unlikely that it's very unlikely that it wouldn't be able to make up for its operational cost. So I would say it's like basically certain to cover its operational cost. Whether it provides a good return on capital is a separate question. There's some risk that it does not provide a good return on capital, but I think there's almost no risk that it does not that it cannot handle its daily operational costs.
Let me beg you then. Here's how I look at it for the city. One, we're adding another choice, a competitive choice. You can take the Blue Line. You can personally drive and park. You can take either a rideshare or a taxi cab, and now you'll have the X. And you can make a choice based on time and money, but we're giving everybody an option of what they want to pick. Second is, if it doesn't get built, there's also a cost associated with it. Now, I happen to think the expansion of O'Hare and modernization, both O'Hare and Midway, the Blue and the Red Line, are key, and Union Station are key for Chicago's future, as I do believe this. But I think we can all know here, it doesn't require between journalists, public official, or entrepreneur, or civic elected officials. We know what happens if we have just the options that are available. But when you think about the future and you think about the economy and you think about where we're going, the fact that Chicago could be the first city not only with a best connected airport, but a new Global Alliance terminal, and also the capacity to get from one end to the other in 12 minutes. You think of all the opportunities in that effort. I don't consider that a losing proposition. I consider that a winning proposition for the city. And I do know, since I spend some time recruiting companies, a modern transportation system, both public as well as aviation, incredible universities that are doing cutting-edge research, incredible talented workforce, a very livable city, and a workforce with the greatest work ethic in the United States. Chicago's competitive edge is unbelievable. This will add to it and give us a cutting workforce with the greatest work ethic in the United States. Chicago's competitive edge is unbelievable. This will add to it and give us a cutting edge that helps us can maintain and build the commanding world-class economy we have in a very competitive world economy. Thank you. No, I told you, O'Hare modernization and this are all going to be bared by either people that fly out of O'Hare or, in this case, Elon Musk and his company. We get all the upside, which is all the jobs and economic opportunity that come with it.
Those costs, you'll pay for any issues you like.
That's correct.
Let's go.
Like this X thing? Thanks, guys.
I'm a big fan of the letter X.